I'm back with another Disney Infinity 3.0 tutorial, and in this one I'm going to show you how to use the text creator, but actually use it with logic gates where you'll have different outputs depending on where you are in your story. So there's a lot of tips I've noticed showing you how to use the text creator, but in this one I want to show you how it can respond in different ways depending on what you're doing in your story. So as you'll see here, I've created like a mock Jabba's palace. And if you want Jabba the Hut, you have to use Rise of the Empire, and you have to unlock him by completing all the challenges. You only have to get bronze level to get him, but that's what you'll need to do. And what I want to do is when I go up to Jabba, I want to talk to him and get a mission where I have to go and do various jobs. Now to help this out, I've already created a text tool. So I pulled the correct text creator tool in there, and if I just go onto that and go to the properties of it, just to show you what I've set up. You'll see that I've got 4 lines of text already set up on here, which we'll go through in a moment. But there are 2 types of text options that I've done. Now I used to do duration, and then I found that some people weren't reading the text quick enough. So actually the style I use, and there are only 2 I use, is the banner one, which comes up in big letters across the screen, or the confirmation. And the confirmation one really lets the user take their time to read what you've got on there, and they can go at their own pace. So I switched that style to confirmation, so there's no duration. It's always available to all the players, and they can guarantee the speed. I've tried a couple of times in 10 seconds show it, and it wasn't enough. So just coming out of there, that's that text creator tool happened. But it's all the components that get to that make your story interactive, and that's the essence of this particular clip. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring a couple of little tools up that you may have not used. I've used them before in a couple of other clips. But our main story is going to be around this logic gate. But the one I want is a dynamic trigger. Okay, I'm just going to plot this here. And when I lay my controls out, I tend to lay them out in sequence so I can follow the route that they've done. And when I finish with my game, I then hide them all out of the way. But I also want this content button assigner. These are the 2 main tools first. The dynamic trigger and the content button. So we'll set these 2 up first. And basically what this dynamic button is that when I go near Jabba the Hut, I want a speech option to occur. I don't know if you see them in certain other games, but if I go into the properties of this tool, and what I normally do is I normally link it to a locator, but in this case I'm going to link it to an actor, okay? And Jabba the Hut is the actor, so I'm just going to go across and say, right, Jabba, you are my actor in this case, and I've linked it to that actor. Now at this present moment I'm still related to this switch, so if I go back to the properties of this item, okay, what I want to do is it's not this toy, it's not the control panel, yeah, and sometimes you're thinking because you pick the actor it's that item, you actually have to go and say no, it's the connected actor. So now basically Jabba the Hutt is now the switch, and I've tried in different distance, but because Jabba the Hutt is quite a big character I'm going to leave that set to 10. Okay, so basically when I go up to Jabba it's going to make a movement. So if I go into that particular option and let's now do a new logic connection, it's not on, not enter, but when I enter that area, so when I enter the area of Jabba the Hutt, I want it to fire this button. So it's not anybody that enters it, it's got to be a player. So when a player enters that, any player, I want to go to this particular button, right? And I want you to activate that button, right? And it's the player that activates it, it's the triggering player. Otherwise it appears on both people's screens if you're doing a 2-player screen. So if I now go to the content button assigner and I go to the properties of that, what we've got here is we've got 2 different options. We've got a duration set, what prompt you want to speak to, and if you go play the Disney Infinity games, you'll notice that when you go to certain characters it'll press square to talk, and that's basically what happens. So I'm going to change that prompt to say talk. So when you go to Jabba the Hutt, it'll allow you to have that conversation with them. Yeah? And I'm going to leave it on for about 3 seconds. Yeah, that should do. Be about right. So leave it on for 3 seconds. Now, I'm going to do this on purpose here, because you think you've set that correct. So let's just test how that's going to work. As I walk towards Jabba, as I get closer, it comes up with a talk button. Brilliant. Now, I do my 3 seconds, but as I walk away, it's permanently fixed there. The duration is absolutely useless, because although I specified 3 or 4 seconds, I didn't actually change the property, and that's going to stay there all the time, which is like really annoying. It's only when I'm with Jabba the Hutt. So if we go back to that tool, what I'm going to do here is under the property settings, I need to change that first one and say the user defined duration is now switched on. So now it is only 3 seconds. Yeah. So I could increase that larger if I want. So let's go back. So what basically happens is with my adventure, if I'm playing along, I find Jabba, I go up to him, and it prompts me to talk to him. And that's when I want to use to press the button, and after 3 seconds it's now disappeared, I've left him. So that triggers that I want a conversation to occur. Now in most people's examples, they tell you to go straight to the text creator and display the information. That's not the case here. What we're going to use are logic gates. Okay, I'm going to use quite a few of them. So I'm going to put a little logic gate here and set this up. Okay, and I'm going to set a couple of them up because I've got 4 different outcomes of questions, and these logic gates are all going to be used depending on where we are in our story. And depending on where we are in this story, we're going to close these gates as they happen. Okay, so what basically you've got is we press the button, the message goes to the first logic gate, and as the gate's open, it will fire the first message. Once that's done, we're going to close the gate, and the next time it goes, it will go through to the second gate, and so on, and it will give it a different output. Now in this particular instance, I also need another logic gate in here because I need to close the gate from that section. Okay, so it takes a little while to get used to these items, but we'll play around with this as we go through. So what we're saying here is that once you press the button, so we're going to do new logic connection, not activated is when you actually confirmed and press the button. The activate is when you get the message. So it's when I actually press it, I'm actually happy to do it. So when the player presses it, it's triggering player. I want to input a signal into this gate. Yeah, so input a signal. Now, logic gates are always open, so the signal goes straight out. So I'm going to do another logic connection from there. And I'm going to say, on output, can you go straight through and can you display our first message? Display text 1. Now, some people cheat and just have multiple, 3 or 4 different text boxes. But let's be clever and use those items as we go through. So we now display that text message. But the problem is each time I come back, it's going to keep pressing the same box. So I now need to close the gate. So once I've displayed the message, close the gate. So this is what the second logic gate does. So when I get an output here, yeah, I'm going to send the signal to this logic gate. Okay, that means we've done the first message. So what I'm going to now do is that I'm going to return it. So once the signal comes to this gate, new logic connection, when I now come out of this gate, I want you to go back to this one and close it. Because that means that I now know that we've actually acknowledged what that mission is. So that gate is now being closed. So when the second time we go up to Jabba and press the button, that gate is closed on the screen. So it's now going to be bounced to the second route. So it comes across here and it will go to this gate. So I now do another connection between this one. So new logic connection. But this time it's not output, it's on when input is blocked. So when input blocks, can we now input a signal into this gate? So input a signal into here. Therefore it comes straight through. So then we go straight from there and say, right, in that case we want to display message 2. So new logic connection on output. Yeah, can we go across and can we display our message 2? So in there, display text message 2. Now I need to do this now for the other gates, but I've got different areas where we trigger these things to occur. So there has to be something that closes the second gate, and there's going to have to be something that closes the third gate, and so on. And you have to do that with your other elements of your story. But if I go and put all these gates in, so what I'm going to say is if that gate is closed and it's blocked, let's now move on to the next message. So in this case here, let's change that setting where we're going to go right on there, new logic connection. When input's blocked, can we send a signal into the other option here? Yeah. And that's then going to go and send a message and output. So new logic connection on output. So if it's still open, that means we're at stage 3. Can we display message 3 in this case? And then we'll do the last one. If we close that gate, that means we've done stage 3. So we can then do new logic connection. When input is blocked, can we send the signal to this logic gate? Okay, and the output from there is going to go all the way back. So can we now go back and display message 4? So I've now got that display message 4. And they're now all set up. So depending on which stage we are in our game, we are going to close those gates. When certain objectives get complete, I must make sure I've closed them. Now I've structured it and laid it out like this so I can follow this on my code. So when I finish with the story and I've tested it all works, I then hide all these tools so you can't see them within the game. But I leave them out in the process so you can see them, because it's very easy to get lost where all the various settings work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out of Spark mode and just test the first part of this screen. So we're going to go and see Jabba and just see what happens on the first part before we start building all the other triggers. So I've just quickly saved the game. A little bit of editing there so you didn't see the save menu, but it made it easier. So as we go up to Jabba, we've got the square button appears. Now I must make sure I press that in time, and it says like, I need help for Bounty Hunter. New Order are looking for a map that gives the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker. Find the map and you can name the reward. Fantastic, we've got a job from Jabba the Hut. So the player now knows that's what he's got to go and do. He's got to go and find the map. Now he walks around and he gets sidetracked and doing other things. But basically what that means is that when we've done that, we've triggered that option. So that gate is now closed. So the second gate is open. So when I go back to Jabba saying, oh, what am I meant to do? Instead of getting the same message, it now interacts with it and says, don't waste my time unless you've found the location of Luke Skywalker. So it now, in a different way, re-guides the user, oh, that's what I'm meant to be doing. I'm meant to go back to that screen. So it doesn't keep repeating the same command. And what we've done now is we've now closed, well, we can't close the gate because we've got to go and find the thing. So if I keep going back to Jabba, I'm still going to get that option. So what I need now is I need something to close those gates to trigger those across. So let's go over here, and what we'll do is we will create, let's pull down an objective here. We're going to map here, blueprint and map. We're going to leave it outside Jabba's palace. He's not looked very hard. Yeah. So I'm just going to put one of these collectibles, and I'm going to put a counter in there as well. So this is a totally separate little entity. Yeah. Stand on its own, but this is as you build it, it gets very messy, your programming, so it's trying to work out where all these items are. So our little mission here is that when I collect that job, that token, I need to increase the token, the counter. Now you may want it that it's 3 or 4 maps or 3 or 4 parts to a map, yeah. But what we're saying is when you lodge a collection, when you either break it or you collect the actual item, can I increment my counter? And you can do it by 1. And I can have various different of these objects lying around. Now I've only picked 1 for this example just to speed things along, but you could have 3 or 4 to make it interesting. So let's change the counter target to 1. Okay, I'm happy with it displayed, so I've set that to 1. So that's now, break that, sets it to 1. So when this objective is done, we can say, right, hold on, when that target is reached, we've done our map. Well, let's close our second gate, yeah? Let's switch that gate off. So what we're going to actually do is, can you close that gate? So that interacts that particular stage of our story. And it's really easy to get lost. So make a note of these. And the way you lay it out on your screen is to help you to find it. So we've now got gate 3 open. And that's now going to guide us to our next mission. Now what we're going to do here is, on gate 3, we're going to get a bit of a double cross. So what I'm then going to do is then, I'm going to have Jabba the Hut send some troops to kill me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do an enemy wave generator. I'm not going to use any locators, I'm going to keep it quite easy. So let's stick this over here in the screen. Right, so I put enemy wave generator here. If I go into Spark mode, which I tend to jump back and forth between, I'm now going to go to configure wave. And we talked about the New Order in this story, so let's bring in some characters from the New Order. I'll just pick some easy ones. I don't want the ones with the shields. And probably need an officer as well. And again, you have to unlock this either in the Force Awakenings or the Rise of the Empire playset. Okay. Which is quite good. Okay, so we've now got that switched that on. Well, what we're going to do with the wave is how long do we want it to be. In fact, actually, I wouldn't mind a few seconds because I'm going to have the message here. So I'm going to leave it 4 seconds. And they're going to generate on that pad. I don't really care. They're just going to appear there around the locator. I'm not going to have various locators picked up, so that's okay. Now, the only issue I've got here is what triggers this item to be done. What gets this item to be picked up. I normally, as I say, pick locators. I want this to be the message. So let's go back to my box. So in here, when we display that message, the third message, we know that we've told them you've been double crossed. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use another logic gate. So let's go back. Put my logic gate here. Now this logic gate is going to act like the first one. So we've collected the map. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we've closed gate 2. Gate 3 now says you've been double crossed. So when we display that message, so in here we're going to do, when you output from here, we've already got this message 3 being displayed, but can we go to this logic gate and we input a signal? That means we've told the user, like in gate 1, we've told the user that we're double crossing users. So therefore, new logic connection, when this gets a signal on an output, can you close the gate? Because we've now done the double cross. But the second logic gate now acts as my trigger. So I can do new logic connection on output. Can I now point that? That actually is what triggers this event off. I want like you to generate the wave. So can we generate the wave? Okay, and that now is our story complete. Now before we test this all, we're going to save it and then we're going to reload it, because like I mentioned, when you load a game up, logic gates are all open, and because we've been testing this so far, we've already closed gate 1 at this present moment. So I'm just going to now save the game. So you'll find it go quite quickly, quite save, and then we're going to reload it back up, and reloading up resets all my logic gates to being open. So here, quickly saved it, a little bit of video editing there to help things along. And I'm now going to load it up to speed this up. So here we go to our toy boxes, reload our level back up. And now it's back on the screen. So if we go through our story, let's test this out. Right, so Boba Fett's now found Jabba's palace, and he's going to go up and have a chat with Jabba. So let's go and run through the story then. So he runs in. You may find most of my clips until the new characters turn up. It's going to be Boba Fett and all of them at the moment. So he's going to go and say hello to him. Now it took too long to press my square button there, to maybe want to increase that. So let's go and talk to Jabba. So we now get our story. Right, we need to go and find the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker. Right, so go away, can't find anything. Yeah. Oop. Can't find anything. So let's go back to Jabba, let's talk to him. Sorry Jabba, not too sure. Let's talk to you now. Don't waste my time unless you found the map. Oh, okay, thanks Jabba, I'll go back. So let's go back to the thing. We look over here. Nope. We're that good, we find it so quickly. There's the map just lying there outside the palace. So as soon as we pick our item up, it increases our counter. So it lets our counter know. We might want to say that we found the map, or some sort of message appear. That's now closed gate number 2. So gate number 2 is now closed. So now when I go back to Jabba the Hut, I say I found it. He goes, great, sorry you found it, but sorry, so I've been given a better offer. No, that now closes the gate, and suddenly the new order troops appear. Now watch this, by the way.
Here we go.
Special move. Oh, too cool, in one go. Admittedly, I've got the troops on easy kill. Just kill them out straight away. Nice. I can hear one more stormtrooper somewhere. Where is he? Where is he hiding? There he is. Fire again. Now that's a special move, but this move here is not a special move. Watch this, if you just press triangle, it'll fire the rocket launcher, so he'll jump forward and go back. So if I come back again, press the triangle, and he's gone. Hey, so now I've now killed him. So if I go back to Jabba and say, "What? Look at you, double crossed me," it now comes with the next stage and says, "Sorry, please don't kill me. I'm not worth it. I'm just a useless slug." So hopefully this will give you tips of how to construct your story and to guide the user. Definitely recommend you using logic gates to try and switch these items off. Try and, let's say, keep a track of these. And like I say, once I've finished the game, I'd hide all those out of the way and then put certain apparatus on. A couple of you also talked about designing maps. Just get the objective right and then build on your map. You can always add stuff to it, so don't panic if you go too far. I always find these logic gates are better when you do it on the screen. And you can always add to items on it, but the main part, get your story going, and then you can put all the background drops in there on the screen. You might want an option there when you've triggered the gate to reset. I'm just showing you here also is that you could reset on this start, reset that mission in case it's happened. Anyway, I hope you find the clip to be of use, and best luck with your toy boxes. Thanks for listening. Cheers.